chef, TV personality, has multiple restaurants, many TV shows. And one of my favorite things to do is actually use him as an example of how we do assertiveness well, and how we do assertiveness poorly, because he demonstrates it in both ways. And if you've ever seen him, you may also be able to recognize sometimes he hits the nail on the head and does it exceptionally well. And sometimes he steps over that line and really gets into assertiveness that is aggressive. Now, what is that line? That line is often sparked by our emotional state. So when we step over the line in assertiveness and are becoming aggressive, it's often because the emotion that's rising in us, we're no longer managing well. And because we are not managing it well, what ends up happening is our behavior in that emotion, our behavior and our assertiveness starts to shift. And soon we're saying and doing things outside a line that is respectful, non-offensive, and non-abrasive. So our emotional self-awareness is critical when we are using the skill of assertiveness. And if we think in life, in leadership, when do we need to use assertiveness? In all likelihood, it's when we have expectations that aren't being met, when we have promises that have been broken, when we have bad behavior being displayed. It's basically a violation of an expectation that has been set. Now, oftentimes we can watch in these clips, yeah, but Teresa, ever notice how his behavior only really shifts depending upon the other person's response? So he's capable of maintaining assertiveness when the other person is open to his feedback and willing to learn. But what ends up happening when that individual starts to push back on him is his assertiveness shifts to aggressiveness. And we can look at ourselves as leaders and ask ourselves, when does my assertiveness shift to aggressiveness? Which emotional state am I in? And how am I creating that emotional state? What am I thinking about? What am I telling myself? Because for me to start in one direction and shift to another, there has to be a change in those criteria that creates my behavior. And by exploring that, we can start to understand ourselves a whole lot better. The deepening of our understanding of ourselves, or the deepening of our emotional self-awareness, will help us to stay on point with our assertiveness without tipping over that line into aggression.